Personal Story segment tonight. Let's bring in Bob Woodward from Washington. So what's your reaction to the Project Veritas situation? Big scandal,
well,
nothing, what?
Well, the evidence looks shaky at this point, but strange things happen. Watergate, Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, a server for the Secretary of State for 4 years, all of her emails. So you've got to look at it. At the Post, we have a reporter looking at it, but you see these snippets of conversation, jiggly cameras, and it's not clear.
Yeah, they're not pros. And as I pointed out when we first reported this last night, there are 40 hours of tape. So you're right, but I wouldn't say the evidence is shaky because the guy had to leave the Clinton campaign today. I mean, that tells me that this is fairly big. And then you saw the defensive of the White House spokesperson, how defensive he was.
Well, he wasn't overly defensive, I didn't think. And, you know, we'll see. And people will look at this. As our former editor at the Post, Ben Bradley, said, the truth emerges. Sometimes it takes weeks or even years.
Okay. So the Washington Post is taking a look at it, though, right?
Indeed.
Okay. Now, the debate tonight, in your POV, that's point of view that we do with every guest, you say that if you were moderating, you would hone in on the Hillary Clinton email situation. But isn't America tired of that? Haven't they heard it? Don't they have a massive headache? And she can evade, and the FBI's, you know. I mean, why would you spend time on that?
Well, because it's serious. It went on for such a long time, and she's said she made a mistake, but she hasn't explained what she's learned from the mistake. And if she would really dig into that, I think that might be revealing. I'd also ask her, obviously foreign policy, extremely important, and she should be asked, in national security circles, she's known as a hawk, much more so than Obama, and she should be asked, is that true? Why? And what would you now do in Syria?
Well, she said, though, she wouldn't put any American troops on the ground. But here's an interesting question.
But that's a phony also, you know, because there are all kinds of special forces there on the ground, and they are troops on the ground.
Well, there's 5,000 troops back in Iraq. 5,000 troops in Mosul right now, and they don't have any agreement with the Iraqi government, which is the excuse that Clinton and Obama give for pulling all the troops out in 2011. Oh, they wouldn't give us a status of forces agreement so they could prosecute American troops. So we got 5,000. We don't have any agreement with them.
Yeah,
so
people
it was just a bunch of bull.
Yeah, but people want a president who's going to level with them, and there is a tone here of not leveling. In the case of Trump, I think he really needs to be asked, are you really serious about insisting on a special prosecutor for Hillary Clinton if you become president? In my view, having done this with 8 presidents, that's really Nixon. What Nixon did, he converted the presidency to an instrument of personal revenge, and that sounds like what Trump is proposing.
Well, but Trump will defend himself, saying that he doesn't believe the investigation was clean, and many people agree with him, particularly people on his side in the Republican Party. And
lots of people, you know, presumably in law enforcement, that's fine. But for a presidential candidate to get up there and say, I'm going to get a special prosecutor on you, that is crossing a boundary.
I think you're giving Trump a server, though. I mean, if you ask him that question, you think it's a negative for him? I think it's a positive. I think he'd wail on that all day long.
Yeah, but
he'd nail her right to the wall with that.
Didn't you do a little stomach dance when you heard that really is a banana republic? You don't think so?
No,
I do.
I mean, I got a stomach rumble when I found out that James Comey, the FBI director, really didn't do what he should have done. That's when my stomach rumbled, not when Trump said that. All right, I want to just divert a little bit. Bob is nice enough to help us on a regular basis. His book, The Last of the President's Men, is now out in paper book, and the movie that's being made is directed by Rod Lurie, who directed Killing Reagan. You're a lucky guy. Lurie did a great job with Reagan.
Yeah, Killing Reagan on the National Geographic Channel. My wife Elsa and I watched this. It's spectacular. I mean, it has a momentum to it. The guy playing Reagan,
Tim Matheson,
woman, and playing Nancy Reagan. I mean, it jumps right out. Yeah, so we expect Rod Lurie to do the same thing with the last of the president's
you got to cuff him around now. I had to get him in a closet and give him a couple of these, but he really came through. All right, the book is The Last of President's Men, now in paperback. I finally able to say that. Bob, we always appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.